This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. JList.com is not only a great place to get your Japanese snacks, your video games, your anime figures, it's also a great place for you to find Japanese culture and anime magazines. Right now, they've got the latest editions of Megami Magazine, Dengeki, Moeo, Afternoon, Balm. They also have magazines on cosplay and other things as well, arts and crafts. Head over to jlist.com or jbox.com, and you'll be able to pick yourself up some cool magazines to keep you in the know of Japanese and anime culture. And now, it's time to start the podcast.
来てくれてありがとう You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hey everybody, I think Mandy is muted, but she's giving her best to talk about this episode.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I am on the recording though. I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was muted.
Wild.
But it was funny because you did jump in right when I introduced you.
Mandy, you didn't record on my end, so just start it again like you're starting the episode.
Oh, great.
Hey.
Sorry. I'm off to a fantastic start where I destroy everything.
Insert the
It's okay, just pretend like... Just pretend like...
back in time with the JoJo music. With the...
You should have just clapped and said, hey, hey.
Yeah.
I prefer the sound effect from Wayne's World. All right, just start it like
Sorry,
we're
guys.
just start it like we're starting from the beginning. Go ahead.
Hey guys, welcome to the 496th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast, where we are dedicated to making your anime addiction worse.
Worse. Oh, worse.
I am Mandy, one of the hosts of 3 today. We are missing the lovely Enzo, which is very sad. We miss him.
He is lovely.
But today we have Mason. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. Remember, people, only do one illegal thing at a time. That's my lesson for today.
What are you doing over there?
Me? Nothing illegal, that's for darn sure.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Just kind of, public service announcement.
He would
You know
never.
how it is.
Not suspicious at all. Thanks. We also have Mitsuki. What's going on?
Hey guys, I am happy to be here. I'm all jacked up on Orange Monster, and been playing Chocobo Dungeon all day, and I'm glad to be here because I'm tired of getting my butt whooped by little cartoon monsters. It's just, I don't know. It's just not good. It's not my day.
What is Orange Monster? Does it have an orange flavor to it?
It does. It is called Ultra Sunrise, and it tastes like, basically like Tang, I would say. Just like Tang. It's very good.
Yeah, we have a lot coming up for you today. But if you would like to join us, the Anime Addicts, you can do so by going to our website. Go to aapodcast.com/join. You can create an account there and get so much more content for less than $1 an episode. We have hentai episodes. We have hobby addicts. We have after parties. We just recorded a hobby addicts where I talked about MTG Arena, and Mason and I played the Visage and ended that. We talked about that as well. And you can also watch that on Twitch and YouTube.
Sure.
Mason talked about his adventures at, what's it called, Mitsui?
Mitsuya Marketplace.
Mitsuwa,
Yeah.
sorry. And Mitsuki talked about some spooky spooky movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can also please follow us on Twitch so you can get updates on when we are streaming. You can go to our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/AA podcast. Talk to your fellow addicts there. You can go to our Discord. You can find a link to Discord on our website, and you can join up there and join so many groups that we have going on. We have a lot of
Join
stuff.
us.
It's a high school.
Mason, what is the gaming group we're doing right now?
Well, every Friday we've been meeting together to do some sort of hooliganish games, whether it be Cards Against Humanity.
Hooliganish?
hooliganish. I don't know if that's even a word. But
I was gonna say
It is now.
Fun. It sounded fun. We've done all kinds of stuff in the past. It's kind of where you get notified for group gaming or for when we do our streams. So it's a fun little time. So get on board with that. I think I've mentioned it before, but I've started working on the forum, the doc for where you guys get to vote on the best anime of the year. So start thinking about what you've liked over the past 12 months, and we'll have a big to do about it.
Oh, you started that early.
Well, I need to start making it now so I can think of good ideas and questions and stuff.
The man means business. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He means business.
Yeah, last Friday we played Cards Against Humanity till 3 a.m. with the community. It was ridiculous.
cute.
We were all dying to sleep. But yeah, you can also come to my manga club. We just covered Dorohedoro, and our next manga meeting will be for A Bride Story, and that'll be on November 13th. And so you can join on Discord, go down to that manga club, and check the pin notes to find out the chapters that you need to read, the dates, and everything. Upcoming
that
clubs.
manga looks so good.
Yeah,
looks
it's
so
gorgeous.
good. Oh my goodness.
The artwork is insane.
Just the textiles, the patterns and the clothing.
Yes.
Unreal.
Are you coming to that one?
My hockey game ends at 9. So I should be able to join at least after 15-20 minutes. We'll see. But I'll definitely be there.
We also have Anime Club.
Yeah, this Wednesday, the 6th of November, we're going to review all of Tsukigakure, which is a great romance series from a couple seasons back. And I think people have been digging it so far. So it's not too late if you start watching right now. Unless you're listening to this
right
in
this
the
second.
future, in which
Get
case...
out of here. If you're watching live, get the hell out of here and go watch it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah. But,
yeah, we're doing some... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the one after that will be on the 20th. I don't think we've decided what that will be yet, but...
Yeah, I think what they've been doing is rolling to decide which is next. Well, I think so, was what they started doing. But, yeah, and this one is different, where before we were only doing the first 5 episodes. This one is the entire series.
Yeah.
It's just to see how many people can actually do it and see if that goes over better. So yeah, coming up in this show, we have a lot of stuff coming up. We have what we've been watching. Mason and I binge through so much stuff.
So much.
We have plenty of ammunition of things to talk about.
I've got some takes to share.
Oh, interesting. Can't wait. And we also have impressions coming up. This is our 3rd round. So we have Assassin's Pride, Null Peta. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Null Peta?
It's a strange title.
It's like Null Peta or like Null and Peta. It's the 2 main characters from the show.
Okay. Oh, okay. We also have Stars Align, or aka Hoshiai no Sora. And we also have Beastars, which I'm very excited to talk about.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So what is this RSS feed, Mitzi?
So guys, some people on the Discord were talking about this, and I know that it's been a point of desire by a lot of people that both have subscribed to us to help out the podcast and whom have not subscribed to help out the podcast. We now have an exclusive RSS feed that you can use to access our Hobby Addicts, our hentai episodes, and our after parties on mobile apps. So previously, you had to go to our website and either download the episodes off the website or stream them off the website. But in any event, the website was involved, and many people didn't like that because most of you listen via Podcast Addict or the iTunes the Apple Podcast app or whatever. Well, we now have, for people that do subscribe to us and help us out, we have a feed that you can put into your app, and it will automatically deliver to you the exclusive content that you're paying for as soon as it's available. And I've already uploaded almost 200 episodes onto that feed. So there's a huge backlog of stuff on there. If you go to the main website, aaapodcast.com, along the top bar, the nav bar on the left, there's now a link that says Member RSS, which will take you to a page that has all of the details of how to get that working. It's real easy. It works on most apps. It works on everything except Spotify and Stitcher and iHeartRadio. It works on most everything else. So head over there and please support the podcast if you think that was a reason why you hadn't been before. We're giving you more reason than ever to help out. So we love you and want to give you the best listening experience that you can get. So that's the whole point. So please
We're
enjoy.
delivering our most embarrassing stories to you on a platter.
That's right.
It's true. Yeah.
Pouring out our
There
hearts.
are many days where afterwards I'm like, why did I say that? Or I listen back and I'm like, that was really wrong. I need to make a note to fix this next episode, and then I never do.
It looks like
But,
some people from the Twitch chat are already on the RSS
Yeah, I
feed
saw
enjoying it. So please continue to enjoy, and if you would like to get that, please sign up and help us out. Love you. Okay, that's all.
Was there anything else you guys want to talk about before we jump into big news?
No, let's do it.
Let's do it.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
So big.
This week in Big News of the Week, we're talking about Academy Awards changing the vote process for Best International Feature Film category. Kind of botched that word, I'm so sorry. Best International Feature Film category voting procedures have changed. The old method was a small group of filmmakers and actors would watch 9 shortlisted films in theatrical screenings during a weekend and choose the 5 nominees. The new method is all eligible Academy members may now vote for the final 5 nominees.
I don't really understand the difference.
I don't either, but I have seen a lot of people talking about this, though. I think it's just that I'm not very, I don't know, I'm just not very well versed in the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
I never really watched them. So
My understanding is that like the anime films have a better shot now of getting nominated, is what I've took from it. I think
Which
it might
I
have,
guess is
yeah.
good if we want to spread our love for anime, which would be awesome. But so Japan has submitted Makoto Shinkai's Weathering with You film in August for consideration in the Best International Feature Film category. The following anime films have been submitted for consideration for the Animated Feature Film category for the 92nd Academy Awards, which were Ayamu Watanabe and Studio 4. Is it 4 degrees Celsius? Is it just the name
I
of the
just
studio?
heard it called 4C.
Yeah,
4C,
4C,
okay.
yeah.
4C's Children of the Sea, Kitaro Kosaka DLE and Madhouse's Oko's Inn, and Hiroyuki Imaishi and Trigger's Promare, and Makoto Shinkai and Comics Waves film Weathering with You.
How many Ghibli movies would have won Oscars if they had actually been eligible? You know what I mean? It seems like Pixar like always wins, but like if it was Pixar versus Ghibli every time.
Did it say once that Spirited Away won anything or was nominated?
It did. It won. It won the Oscar.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I thought so.
But like Princess Mononoke didn't even get nominated. I don't, at least not to my knowledge. Yeah, it should have. But like, there's so many great.
It won in our heart, and that's what matters.
It won in my heart. That's the only one that matters. Damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah, the more recent ones got nominated, like The Wind Rises did not, but I think The Tale of Princess Kaguya got nominated because I think that like in recent years these films have become the Ghibli has become knowledgeable enough across the world that like they've actually had screenings, qualifying screening runs in the U.S. But like before they didn't. So I don't know. That's a lot of anime to be nominated. So some pretty good stuff in there. Have you guys seen any of these movies? I haven't.
I have not.
Yeah,
I have not,
them.
but I've been listening to the soundtrack of Promare and Weathering with You for a couple months now, so I'm excited to actually finally put visuals to what I've been listening to.
Oko's Inn. I think I did an impression on the anime for that. I know they made a movie of it.
It was
Let
like
me double check
very
that.
family friendly, like
Yeah. Is it the one with the spirit, with the little boy spirit that lived in? Yes, this is it. Yeah, I did.
I think so. Yeah.
On it, and I was like, this was a very delightful little short. Like it was a very short anime, and I was like, it's very delightful, but it is very childish. Like I chose not to do a review on it because I was like, it feels kind of weird doing a serious review on a show meant for really small children. So, but it was very, I don't know, it's very precious though.
There you go.
So maybe I should check out the movie.
Check it out. Let us know.
Yeah. You want to go on to Big Bad Moe?
Oh, I love
Big Bad Moe.
I love it.
Big Bad Moe.
Yeah.
Big Bad Moe.
It's my favorite.
Howdy, partner. I seen you riding in on that dusty trail.
Cram is so sexy.
Welcome to the good,
You're welcome.
the bad, and the moe.
Guys, I am excited and this is the good. I am excited and simultaneously terrified. Capcom, the previously believed to be debunked Capcom, I should say, has confirmed that they are developing a live-action Mega Man film. So I assume it'll be animated. They released this with their business results from the 6 months ending September 30th. So they're, I guess, like at a conference call announcing their financials. They confirmed in a report that they are planning this live-action Mega Man that's still in development. I guess we hadn't heard about it in a while, but they've come back and they've made a note that they're still making it. Henry Jost and Ariel Schulman of Catfish and Paranormal Activity 3 and 4 are writing the film and directing it as well. Masi Oka of Heroes is producing the project, and the film is titled, get this, you won't believe this title. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I was waiting for
My
you.
butt is ready for this.
The film is called Mega Man, if you can believe that.
Oh, really?
What
Yeah.
the heck?
And this is like going alongside of Capcom's pretty much other most popular franchise that has yet to get a movie series, which is Monster Hunter, which is coming out in 2020, just about like roughly a year from now. So that's pretty cool.
Oh man, that Monster Hunter one, I'm terrified. That's
It's
gonna
gonna
be so
be
bad.
it's gonna be bad. Sonic's gonna be bad. Mega Man probably bad, but I don't know. It's fun.
Should make it Mega Boy. That would have been hilarious.
Some of the Resident Evil movies have been decent, but mostly not probably. For the
Yeah,
bad.
if you're- oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I was just gonna say, if you're really aching, if you just can't wait for any more Mega Man like media products, don't forget you can always listen to. Have you ever heard of the band, the Proto Men?
I have.
Mitsugi?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm sure you know of them, but they are like this rock opera band that has like all these concept albums about the story of Mega Man, and like it has all these different voices and characters where they like go over like the rise to power of like Albert Wiley and like Dr. Light's like struggle in the city and like all these accusations and stuff. It's very deep lore stuff, but it's a fun time if you don't like that kind of
Interesting.
stuff.
Yeah, they didn't say if the movie was they didn't say if it was actually animated or not, but I imagine Mega Man will at least be in CG, a lot like how Sonic is. For the bad, Stars Align production committee has apologized for copying the dance choreography of those dancers without permission, so that didn't take long. On October 23rd, I think we talked about this literally last week,
Yep.
the online dancers Miko Nanakawa and Melochin pointed out that more or less it's hard to deny that their dance choreography was flat out stolen for use.
Flat
in
out stolen.
It really was. I mean, it was like move for move the same. From the ending animation of the original television property, Hoshiai no Sora, which we're going to be doing an impression on today. And both the dancers said that they sent inquiries. Well, the production committee has apologized to them for using the choreography without permission and said that, quote, there was not sufficient consciousness regarding creative ownership. And I say to you, sir and madam, no shit.
No shit.
No shit. The notice also stated that the two dancers are now working with the anime team. So,
All they had to do was ask the first
Good for them.
time.
I like how they didn't send in like accusations. They sent in inquiries, aka, "What the heck, guys? Come on."
yeah, so they just wanted to get
Serious?
they just wanted to have them as consultants without paying them for consulting, more or less. For the Moe, we have lost a dear Moe girl from the anime universe today. Rem from ReZero.
Crushing defeat.
You'll note that in 2016 we talked about there were 30 life-size Rem figures that sold for just an absolutely just ridiculous $12,600 a piece. Well, it is sad, but one of those Rem figures has broken, and there's a photo online of it laying.
It ate shit.
It ate
That
shit.
thing ate shit.
She died with a broom in her hand and a maid outfit on what looks like someone's deck, I would say. And I just have a question. First of all, who the hell spends almost $13,000 on a figure? And second, if you look at the construction of the figure, like in its legs, it looks like it was very badly built. So, I don't know. Like, maybe the moral of the story is don't spend $13,000 on a Rem figure. But
What were they doing to make it break? That's the question.
I don't
That's
know.
what-
I think the article says it came like that in shipping.
no way.
Oh.
That's what it says, and they
That's
supposedly
disappointing.
come with a lifetime warranty. But yeah, I don't want to know what they were doing.
I like to.
Yes.
I like to think that like a cat and a dog were chasing each other around the base of the statue, like in one of those cartoons, and they just got a
Yeah.
little clumsy and bumped into it. I mean, it happens. or that, or maybe
snapped her ankles and femurs.
that. Yeah.
Oh, let it go.
Her legs broke at the ankle, a lot like in that one anime that we did an impression on a couple seasons ago about the magical girls that fight those giant teddy bears. Sliced at the ankles and at the knee. Rem's gonna need
Or
surgery.
if you've seen the live action of Lone Wolf and Cub, it's also like that.
It's very
very
gross.
true.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
intense. Very intense to be cut off at the ankles.
Icy Asian
So.
guy in the chat says, "Rem in peace."
Rem in
Rem in
peace.
peace.
Rem in peace. Indeed. pour one out for Rem. So, pour out an apple juice or whatever the hell she would drink. All right, what's next?
We have trivia. You want to handle that, Mason?
Yeah.
I certainly can. So first up, we have the trivia, the weekly trivia from the site. The answer for this week was Empire of Corpses, which I definitely would not have gotten. That was a tough one.
It was hard as hell.
Oh, I've seen that.
A few people got it. I hadn't seen it, but a few people got it right.
But the person who won for the week was Manly Mudkip, who seems to be on a roll recently.
Crushing.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Yeah. It's just luck.
The theme remains scary anime as we round out the Halloween season, and you can go to our website to give the next one a shot. Additionally, we have the in-show weekly trivia that is for nothing except your own pride and pat yourself on the back. And this is in the currently airing anime Ahiru no Sora, or Stars Align. Or nope, not that one. Never mind.
Duck
the
Sky.
Got it.
Yeah, Duck Sky. Sora receives what kind of basketball-related gift from his mother?
From his
We'll let you
mama.
know soon enough.
Hey everybody, this is Mitsugi, and it's time for your anime news break. Leading us off, well, the saga of Monica Rial, Funimation, and Vic Mignogna continues. It looks like Vic Mignogna did file an appeal of the prior district court's decision, and it looks like Monica Rial, Jamie Marchi, and Rial's fiance, Ron Toy, are filing a motion to dismiss Vic's appeal to have the decision reviewed. He filed this appeal back on the 24th of October. The motion argues that the district court did not have the jurisdiction to actually present judgment over the case, and it looks like they are going to be having now a court decision to determine whether or not they will dismiss this appeal to review the prior decision, as court lingo is very complicated. Hearing is set to decide the attorney's fees, costs, and other expenses that are owed by Vic Mignogna, which is set for the 21st of November, as when you lose this type of a court trial, you have to pay the other side's court fees and attorney's fees, which is not good news for Vic Mignogna. So we will keep you up to date and see if there is even another revision or a review of the prior case, as they are filing a motion to dismiss that altogether. And next up, Osomatsu-san is having a collaboration with It, the horror movie, which is kind of bizarre, but it looks like it does make some sense, as It Chapter 2 is going to be airing in Japan around the same time as the Osomatsu-san movie Blu-ray release that's coming out on November 6th. Also, the plot of It revolves around a clown terrorizing 7 children, which, if you add up all the Osomatsu brothers plus Totoko, you'll get that amount. And there are also other very eerie similarities, including it looks like the Osomatsu original series aired in 1988 and had a follow-up in 2015, which is a 27-year gap. The exact amount of time between the 1990 release of It and the film, which came out in 2017. Also, Osomatsu-san is produced by Studio Pierrot, which means clown, and we all know that It himself is a clown. So very eerie similarities here between the two on multiple levels. If you are a fan of Osomatsu-san or It, you might want to check out this collaboration coming out in Japan. It's kind of bizarre. Next up, it looks like there is a crowdfunding campaign that has been put out to put a stop to the abuse of Japanese workers in the anime industry, and also to get some pay for these guys that haven't been paid for their unpaid overtime. It looks like there was a campfire crowdfunding page put up with a goal of about $5,000, of which they have raised most of that already. And the goal is to support the employees who are suing Studio 4 Degrees Centigrade for alleged unpaid overtime and lack of transparency. And the campaign describes a system of, quote, unlimited work at a fixed rate, which just means that they'll pay you the same amount and then work you infinite amounts of hours. And the case states that, quote, beginning with the court case against the anime production company 4 Degrees Centigrade, we are working to create precedents and rules to combat the abuse of this flexible hours situation of employees in the anime and creative industry. So that's probably a good thing. Of course, we could always just make less anime, and then we wouldn't have to work everybody, 14,000 hours a week. Next up, and lastly, the anime pilgrimage sites for 2020 have been announced, as always happens from the Anime Tourism Association. There are 12 new additions to the list, including Hakodate Hokkaido from Love Live Sunshine, Aizu Wakamatsu Fukushima from Haolang Babies, and other locations from Osada Zanmai, Gegege no Kitaro, Just Because, Girly Air Force, and others. So if you're a fan of checking out these sites that are seen in different anime, you can go online and look up the Anime Tourism Association's 2020 pilgrimage sites and maybe make a little trip throughout Japan and visit some of these. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast. Did you guys know that over at JList and JBox.com, they do a whole lot more than just sell Japanese snacks, games, and anime figures? They also sell a variety of magazines that'll let you keep up with Japanese culture and anime. They have lots of stuff for the new year, and for December coming up, they have Megami Magazine, Dengeki Dio Magazine, Afternoon Magazine, Bomb Magazine with all of the gravure and famous models. They also have cosplay magazines and so much more. So if you want to keep up with Japanese culture and anime, head over to JList.com right now and pick up a current issue of one of these awesome Japanese magazines.
Welcome back. I'm always hesitant to cut that song off, but
Oh, you just want to? Oh, you just want to listen? So is that what you're saying?
I want to, but
Forever.
just we got places to be today.
Oh, okay.
Next time, my friend. When we left you, we had a question for you.
In the
currently airing,
yeah. Go ahead.
In the currently airing anime Ahiru no Sora, Sora receives what kind of basketball-related gift from his mother? Mitz, what's the answer?
Basketball shoes.
Wild.
And the first thing that happens in that anime is that a bunch of Yankee thug boys come in and they try to take them from him. Oh shit! Wait, the Sim. I just can't get enough of that shit. Yeah, the bunch of the Yankee boys come in and they try to take the poor kid's shoes from him. They're like, we're going to take these shoes, and I think they said they were going to throw them into the river, and then they said, no, that's too much effort. We're just going to throw them into the incinerator at the school. I'm like, and all I could think of was Jonathan's poor dog.
Yeah. That's all I could think of at first.
What was that dog's?
Did you also name his shoes Danny?
Yeah, Danny. Poor Danny. Rest in peace. All right, poor Danny. He did not deserve it. He was just a good boy.
He was a good pup.
He's just a good old little doggo.
Too soon. Also, spoilers for JoJo.
Oh yeah.
JoJo episode 1, 2. It doesn't matter.
What's it
I
one?
don't know.
I thought it was 2.
I don't know. Episode whatever. One of those wonderful episodes. They're both great. All right.
Coming up now, though, we have my manga minute, where I'm going to tell you about some mangas.
God, I'm excited.
Getting hyped.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandy.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. This one is called Magus of the Library.
Oh.
In a small village of Amun lives a poor boy named Theo. Theo adores books, but because of his pointed ears and impoverished life, impoverished life, he isn't allowed to use the village library. As he endures the prejudice and hatred of the village, he dreams of going where such things don't exist. I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's Afzak, which is the city of books. But one day, Theo chances to meet a Kafna, a librarian who works for the Great Library of Afzak. Sorry, it's spelled Aftzak, which is a really... I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce it.
I'm here to tell you that you're doing great.
Oh, thanks. And his life changes forever. Magus of the Library is a fantasy manga written and illustrated by Mitsu Izumi. It is still currently publishing, but there's currently 2 volumes available in English. The front cover of the manga, which also says that it was based on a story called Kafna of the Wind by Sophie Schwim. I looked this up and I couldn't find anything about it. Every time I put in Kafna of the Wind, it just gave me this manga, so I don't know what they're talking about. But Magus of the Library is definitely a story for those who possess a love of books. The Kafna work hard to make sure books are available to everyone, and our protagonist Theo has a strong passion for reading. The fantasy world that Izumi has created feels so unique to me. They've incorporated some common fantasy elements, such as, elves, which I'm assuming which Theo is. He looks like a normal elf, and fairies and magic, but they put him into like this kind of Middle Eastern type world. And despite establishing that that magic does exist in this world, the manga still feels very grounded in reality. They spend some time going over the history of books or how to repair damaged texts, and it kind of closely mirrors our own history. The first novel follows Theo's desire to borrow books and fighting against the prejudice that he faces every day. And the end of the first manga does suggest a possible tone shift. So I'm eager to see where it goes next. The art is absolutely gorgeous, and I could not wait to show people if you're watching this live. These 2-page spreads almost feel cinematic, and there's so much detail put into the background and the characters' clothing or designs of the book covers, and it just makes this manga a feast for the eyes.
How do you even draw that? It's like there's so much detail. It must have taken like a month to draw that. I don't even know how it's possible.
I was very surprised.
Crazy.
But I just went inside a bookstore and I was just exploring. I was like, I'm just gonna look at some random manga, because I do that all the time. I just pull books off the shelves and I'm like, I'm gonna open it up and see what I see. And then I immediately opened up to I don't know if I could find it in I had it bookmarked and then I lost it. But
do all the pages look that
page.
good? Oh yeah.
I opened up to this one. I was like, holy shit. And I just their clothing and all of the jewels and the books in the background. I was like, I have to read this book. The characters are also very expressive with a wide range of emotions. And I loved this first volume, but it does move at a pretty slow pace. I found it to be very relaxing, and I love taking in the beautiful art. I suggest giving it a shot if you're interested in if you either have a love for books or if you're looking for a different kind of fantasy, especially if you're currently enjoying The Ascendance of a Bookworm. I highly recommend this. So there's only 1 book available in English right now. 2 available in English right now, but there's 3 out in Japanese, so we're not too far behind them.
Are there a lot of pages in there that are that detailed, or is it just kind of like a special little reward every 50th page or whatever?
Well, not every page is like a 2 spread like that. like you have pages like this, but even in the pages where it's just a character, she still has a lot of detail in her clothing. I think the whole thing overall is pretty gorgeous.
I'm not a big manga reader, but it looked a little Berserk-esque. Just the level of detail and
I don't know about that, but
not quite that good. Okay.
I definitely took a look at this when Mandy brought it up, and it definitely has the level of detail that Berserk has. I think the difference is a lot of the art is very realistic and these are books, these are places, these are things, and you can tell some digital effects were used to help make it look real nice and prim and proper, whereas his stuff is more fantastical, so there's no right way to do it. So it definitely has a similar attention to detail, but it's very stylistically accented.
One more time, Mandy. What was that called again?
Magus of the Library.
Of the
Magus
Library.
being Magus.
Got it. All
Also, the name of a Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah.
right. But of course.
Also, yeah. But also, I looked up Danny, the dog on JoJo's Bizarre
no.
Encyclopedia, and they have like a whole thing like written out about him. They are treating him like a main character. They have like a list of all his like major battles and his abilities.
Writes for Danny. Danny writes. Danny writes.
It's great. They have like way more info about him than anyone needed.
He didn't deserve it.
Does he have more information than Dio? Because that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be great.
He was just a good dog. He just wanted pets. He didn't deserve to be burned alive. Too much. Okay.
Anyway,
Too soon.
Too soon.
too soon.
All right. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
In the game of waifus, you either win or you are late to anime school. Cake will be thrown, ice cold tea will be served. Who will be top in the class and who will be flunked in Mason's Waifu Wars?
Oh my goodness.
So epic.
I love that drop. It's so wild. Now that the spooky oogies are behind us and the clocks fall back, don't forget, change yours.
I love
we
it.
move forward with our eyes on Thanksgiving. With that in mind, the theme for this month is family. Whether it be characters that you'd want to start a family with, someone you could bring to Thanksgiving to meet your family, a la Summer Wars, or just a sweetheart who takes care of their family. I'm looking at you, characters with like a litter of younger siblings. Essentially all our precious, wholesome, lovable waifus that the whole family can get behind. So for the opening week of this, I've got to start things off right. I'm talking a nice, proper girl, a nice waifu, a kind, motherly personality who cares for all around her, with a charming disposition, who would hit it off with all of your relatives. This is a bright professional who is well established and enjoys pumpkins and sweet potatoes and everything about this season. So this is from PA Works 2017 offering, Shiori Shinomiya from Sakura Quest. So this show is the third of PA Works' original series of working shows. This goes after like Shirobako and Hanasaka Iraha. And Sakura Quest is like a look at the oft-neglected like small towns throughout Japan. It's not all about Osaka or Kyoto or Tokyo. It's telling the story of the fictional village of Manoyama, which seems to be inspired by the real-life locations of Inami, Fukumitsu, Nanto, and Johanna. And this town, it's a struggling like rural farming town with a like aging population and no like draw to pull in tourists or like future residents. They're kind of dying out. And so they're looking to, get more interest, bring people into the town. And so by factors of mistakes and mishaps, they formed the Manoyama Tourism Board. And the group of this board is to, remedy the situation, get people interested. And this is a 25 episode series, and it's lovely, and it's relaxing, and it's a pretty interesting look into a real problem that Japan is dealing with. Did you guys ever watch this show?
No, it's always been on my list, though. Did you like it?
I did. It was like inherently not as like, oh my goodness, this is anime like Shirobako had. And it wasn't as like high school drama as Hanasaka Iraha, but it was cool. It's like very similar to those vibes.
Okay.
So it's definitely worth checking out.
12 episodes, or how long was it?
25.
Oh,
It was
25. That's much longer than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's a juicy one, yeah.
I'll check it out.
Of course, all 5 characters in this show are fantastic waifu material. Though it feels a little cheap to say that because they are like very realistic characters. And a major part of what helps that is they have extensive outfits that each of them have. Like PA Works really formed the ability to craft an entire wardrobe for each character and have it used and matched in like interesting combinations throughout the season. Like I'm really think they got good at that with Shirobako, and you could see them like mixing tops and bottoms, wearing sweaters on top, using it to tie around their waist. Like they always like kept on having this vast palette, but it all was consistent and super cool. So that's one way I think that a lot of their shows gain that like grounded realism. But no one cares about that. We care about Shiori here. If you don't remember, she's like the librarian-looking member of the cast. She's got her bunned brown hair, this conservative like sweater and shirt. She like wouldn't draw any questioning looks from or disapproval from your elders. She's great at housework, so she would love helping you tidy up when there's guests visiting. She's brave and skilled. She takes down like the most ferocious of centipedes with like this calmness and grace. She's just so cool.
She gracefully crushes a centipede.
She isn't frivolous like those city girls. You know, she's patient. She's loyal. She sticks around to assist her parents, townspeople, and she acts as the guide for the newcomer Yoshino when she comes to town as the queen of the tourism board. She's got this very like centering aura of order and would be a great waifu for 365.26 days out of a year. She's a true sweetheart that everyone would approve of, and most importantly, I approve of, which I dare say it doesn't get much better than that.
And very cute.
Yeah, very, very great. Big fan.
Mason's stamp of approval.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I moved quick. I got her up here on the Twitch stream, so everybody can enjoy her grace visually.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. You know,
She's cute.
You made a good point, and Sakura Request brings up a good point about something that we could talk about in greater detail later, but there is an epidemic in Japan with the sort of they're called akiya, which basically means vacant. There's a big problem in Japan with consolidations in the cities, and what happens is that due to the fact that most jobs are located in major cities, I don't know if people knew this, but almost 40% of Japan lives in Tokyo. Like, that's pretty in the Tokyo region, and that's pretty insane considering if you add Kyoto and Osaka to that, and like maybe one other major city like Nagoya, maybe you're talking like I don't want to. I'm just gonna throw a number out and I'm just gonna guess 60 to 70% of people. So like there is an epidemic in Japan where due to the fact that most jobs are in the cities and the fact that so many elderly people in Japan. You know, there are so many elderly. There are whole towns in Japan that are vanishing. And according to this article I'm reading right now, 6 million out of the 60 million homes in Japan are vacant. And a lot of that is because of those houses are located in these rural areas. And if I'm not mistaken, that's, I think, what they're kind of trying to address in Sakura Quest, you know, with trying to drum up interest in these rural areas of the country. And they are, and that's why they have the Japanese anime pilgrimage sites every year, and you know why they have all these other tourism associations, because they're trying to get people to move and to just at least visit these other areas of the country, because they are turning into ghost towns like all throughout Japan, and it's kind of crazy and a little sad too, for sure.
It is sad.
So according to Wikipedia, a 2010 census shows that 90.7% of the total Japanese population live in cities. Now, of course, there are more cities than the main ones you just listed, so
yeah,
I'm sure your guess isn't too far off. But yeah, there's a lot more to Japan than those places, and they're struggling.
People do not realize how many people live in the Tokyo metro. People think like New York's a big city, or you know, like even Shanghai is a big city. There are 38 million people living in the Tokyo metro. That's like four times what most of like of a country's like largest city would have. So it'd be a cool sort of some socio-political conversation for another day. But yeah, it's interesting to just keep tabs on like Japan's current state. So good pick, Mason. I like it.
Why? Thank you.
And very cute.
I'm gonna watch it now too.
See,
Maybe this week.
Maybe. Well, I want to hear about what you watched this past week.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, what a segue! What a segue!
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Man, that's why you get that.
Wait, what? You get paid?
7-figure contract, baby.
I get paid as much as anyone else. I just make Mitt send it to me in big checks.
He wants. Yeah, he gets it.
It's just this real big check says $5.
Listen, I'll tell you what, it's better than all in like ones, which is what he wanted before, like a big like rubber banded stack. It was like 14 inches tall.
To live his best stripper life.
Exactly.
Yeah. I used to rent a dump truck to dump all the pennies out that he wanted to be paid in pennies. Just kidding. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so let me start here. We're gonna be doing what have we been watching, just keeping you up to date on the stuff we've been watching. Maybe you'll get a couple recommendations here and there. Listen, guys, whether you know this or not, and I am the biggest Ghibli honk there is. I think, pretty sure.
You don't say.
I'm pretty sure. So,
Was that an Untitled Goose Game reference?
oh wow. I am lucky enough to have a girlfriend who also loves Ghibli movies, and she likes going to the movie theater. So we've been doing the Ghibli Fest almost every month. And Ghibli Fest, for those of you that don't know what this is, you really should. It is basically once a month for a few days, a Ghibli movie hits a lot of theaters in the U.S. There's about 15 in Denver alone. So I know there's a pretty good shot you have if you have a movie theater in your city that does the Ghibli movies. Now, they're usually on like Mondays and Wednesdays, like the days when no one's at the theater. But they are playing some pretty great movies. And this past weekend, for the first time ever, I saw Spirited Away in theaters.
Ooh.
And let me just tell you, this movie, it's pretty old now. How old is Spirited Away? It's got to be, what, at least 10 years old now, right? Let me see here.
I thought it was early 2000s.
Let me see here. Spirited Away. Oh, it
be
is
wrong.
it is nearly 20 years old. That is crazy. Wow. 2001. So
Okay.
I think there could be some people out there that haven't seen Spirited Away. I don't know how many, but there are a few. This movie, especially in theaters, was mind-blowing. I mean, the visuals in this film and the music are absolutely stunning. I mean, there are some shots where I simply have no idea how they animated it. I'm just like, I feel bad for I can just see Miyazaki standing over his animators like a whip, just whipping them. You know, like when Lin is throwing the Competo to the soot sprites that are in the boiler room and they're eating like the little star-shaped candies.
Yeah.
There's like 100 of them moving at once, all just moving rapidly, catching the Competo. There's scenes in like side of Yubaba's bathhouse, like in her private area. Where oh man, he's got something. What do you got there?
This is a white one though. I got this in like one
white
of those
Sprite?
machines.
It's an albino. It's an albino soot sprite.
It's an albino one, yeah. Except he doesn't have red eyes.
A couple
Yeah,
cool notes about Spirited Away that you might not know. It is heavily steeped in Buddhist themes. The whole movie is and it's very very Miyazaki. Buddhist themes and nature. There's an extremely prevalent theme in the movie is greed, and it's just everywhere in the movie. To Chihiro's parents turning into pigs because they're just eating rapidly at the beginning of the movie, to the excess and the gaudy decorations and money counting that Yubaba does, to No Face going crazy inside the bathhouse because of all the wealth, and all he does is try to bribe and get other people to do things for him, and he's always trying to get everybody to do things because he has this gold, and everyone's going crazy about gold. And the only thing in the movie that is free of all the greed and is the purest icon in the film is Chihiro, and she refuses to succumb to the greed in the bathhouse, and she rises up above it and is able to escape. The movie is so fantastic, and let me tell you guys, next month, arguably an even better movie is coming to Ghibli Fest on November 17th, 18th, and 19th, and you are not going to want to miss Princess Mononoke in movie theaters. And I'm telling you right now, Mason knows this. When they get through the first scene with the tainted boar or whatever, and they're playing like the overture of the movie, and the title screen comes up. That music is so powerful. I'm getting chills right now just imagining hearing the music. That is how insanely incredible the Princess Mononoke soundtrack is.
So good.
You guys
and the boar god's voice.
He's so cool. He's so cool. And then after that, in December, they're going to have The Tale of Princess Kaguya coming to theaters. And I've seen that in theaters already, but I'd like to see it in English in theaters instead of in Japanese.
So when these Ghibli Fests, do they often do a 2-day showing, one subbed, one dubbed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
I feel like that's how they release some things, but I wasn't sure if that was like a set pattern.
For example, the Princess Mononoke will come dubbed on the 17th, subtitled on the 18th, and dubbed again on the 20th of November.
So there's no excuses not to
you have your
find
pick.
the one that fits you and or people you're going with and sucker them into being fans.
And listen, these theaters are not abandoned. I mean, they have a fair amount of people in them. There were probably 30 to 35 people in the Spirited Away movie that I was in. And I think that if people go and they support these showings, you're going to get a lot more showings of things like Ghibli, but also that not Makoto Shinkai, I think he gets screenings anyway, but like Satoshi Kon's movies have been coming to theaters.
Yeah.
Akira is coming, I think, at some point next year. And So neat. And things I want to see next year from the Ghibli Fest. I want to see Nausicaa. They usually bring that, but I missed it this past year. I want to see My Neighbor the Yamadas. Not a great cinematic film, but I really want to see it. And then my 2 Ghibli weak points are Only Yesterday, which is a Takahata film that I've only seen once, and it was a long time ago, and I don't remember much about it. And I have not seen When Marnie Was There. I want to see these movies in theaters, and you guys should go see them too. Catch up on your Ghibli knowledge, and just watch a great movie in theaters.
Yeah,
it is just they're unlike anything else you've seen. I really believe that. So.
Mandy, I kept on waiting for your no-face piggy bank to want to join in.
I almost accidentally set him off.
It's
That's
a
why
Totoro.
if you saw my face, I was like,
oh no!
please don't go off. Please don't go off.
Mandy has a Totoro.
Triggered.
Yeah, my Totoro sits like right next to him, and I was trying to get my Totoro out, and I was like, oh, please
It's
no
a
face, don't
dangerous
go off.
game. It's a dangerous game.
I cried no less than 4 times during the Totoro movie. I mean, I am so soft.
Oh.
I am so soft. It's just too much. I love it so much. What have you guys been watching?
You are the big Totoro of the cast.
He is the Totoro? Do we sit on his
soft.
stomach with that when he
He's-
has a
he's
gigantic mouth?
I'm not very fuzzy. I don't even have hair on my head, so
That's true. He doesn't have any hair.
I'm not sure. I think
He doesn't have a tail.
Enzo
I
could be
didn't
the
know
Totoro.
Totoro had a tail.
He does. It's a little fluff tail.
I had no
A little
idea he had a
fluffy
tail.
There's a Totoro looking type monster in Spirited Away, the Radish Spirit. Do you guys recall the Radish Spirit?
Yeah.
He looks like
Yeah.
Totoro with like a weird whiskery
He does.
beard thing. It's pretty neat.
And he makes the
We had more.
when he walks,
Did he
and
have
like the
4
scene with
arms?
Yeah, he's got little. He's got
My-
little.
He
Yeah.
had horse. Yeah.
he's like a ginseng kind of guy with extra
Yeah,
limbs. And
he looks like a
the,
ginseng.
The scene when he like squishes Chihiro in the elevator was like my
Mm-hmm.
wallpaper for a while.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, she barely fits in there with him.
Enzo is in the chat right now, and he says, "Y'all can jump on my stomach, I guess."
Yeah, I think Enzo's the Totoro of the group. I'm pretty
Enzo's
sure.
a Totoro. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Aw.
We just need a really bad edit of like the line of animals like marching with the little umbrellas
Can I be
With
the
our-
frog?
with our faces poorly plastered on them.
All right.
I
What
want
have
to
you
be
guys-
the frog.
What have you guys been watching?
Anyways.
Ribbit.
I watched tons of stuff. Not surprising. I caught up on all my seasonal shows. Bookworm is still, I don't know what to say about Bookworm. It's still slow, but it still does some interesting things here and there that I'm like, oh, that was interesting to like how she is still trying to figure out how to make books, and there's something that always gets in her way, and there's this theme of like and at least I think the last episode there's a strong theme of destroying something that somebody created, and like the sadness that brings upon the creator. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but it's still pretty slow slice of life. No Guns Life. Mason, have you been keeping up with that?
Yeah, I've been watching it.
I actually really liked the 3rd episode. Did
Gunhead.
you?
The 3rd was definitely better than the 2nd.
Same. Yeah, I thought
But-
so as well.
It definitely went in a weird direction. I don't think it's really spoilers, but essentially a character has the power to control essentially anyone who's
Yes.
been altered.
I was thinking of it as like hacking. Do you think he's just
Yeah.
hacking them? Okay.
And he takes over another prominent character in the show, just like without asking, just as like, hey, I got places to be. I'm going to take you over.
Yeah. I like
And
that part too.
we haven't really got to the ramifications of this when he kind of, because they're on the same team. He's obviously going to eventually
Mhm.
let up control. And I think it'll be very curious to see how this character reacts to being hijacked and like having their body just thrown around a
That
bit.
sounds scary.
There's
That's
something
so scary.
like it definitely has comedic moments in it, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood kind of style. But I don't know. There was something about the last one, the themes of that one, that reminded me a little bit of Ghost in the Shell-ish kind of. I think that's why I was like, oh, this episode is really cool.
Yeah, there's definitely the disconnect between what the body is and what. Yeah, and all that stuff. So it's definitely still good. It's definitely still staying the course. Still watching it, but it's not as good as Outburst Dreamer Boys. I'll tell you that much.
Outburst Dreamer Boys is so
Oh
great.
my goodness, it's just
Okay,
fun. It's
the third-
fun personified into an
think it was
anime.
third episode or was the fourth, the one with the green haired boy that came in, and I was like, I wasn't really hot on that episode. It's
He
kind of
came
boring.
in on the end of the third, like he arrives to Japan.
But
End
the
of
fourth
episode
episode
3.
was
The
all
fourth
based on
episode
Green
is
Hair
him.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I wasn't too hot on. I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. I don't really care for this character. The last episode was hilarious, and again, I laughed out loud.
I like the guy who's like really like threatening, and he's like, "Don't stand behind me."
Me too.
I drink
Catboy.
my coffee black. Like, don't mess with me.
Oh,
and then
that
you
one.
realize, oh, don't stand behind him, because him trying to drink coffee black irritates his stomach and gives him the stinky poops.
What?
And, so you
That
think
is
like this whole
wild.
thing's like, stay away from me, but it's really just he just farts a bit, and he really
Yeah.
doesn't want you behind him because you might smell it.
Yeah, well, the pink-haired guy too. He came in.
No, that was him, the cat boy.
The pink-haired guy, Catboy, who's super aggro. Of course, my favorite character.
Of course.
I love that he
Obviously.
comes in, he gets everyone together. He's like, I have a mission for you. He makes it sound like there's like a murder mystery at this theme park. And then someone calls him out. He's like, your sisters just really wanted you to work there. He's like, yes. Yes, they'll kill me if I get help for the theme park.
I don't
So
know.
it's
It's
really
just
funny.
all these characters are the perfect mix between like being dumb but not being annoying,
Mhm.
and having a lot of heart. And I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it.
And like we don't have a review coming up, so I'm probably going to talk about it all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a part with the pink-haired guy where he has to work at running this like little kid train at the theme park, and it's so funny every time he pushes the button. He's like, "Y'all better hope you make it back from hell." And he pushes it,
Damn.
like,
And it's just this little like, oh my goodness.
that part was cracking me up. And the like super like the guy who thinks his soul is black, or demon
Yeah.
guy who thinks he's a demon lord.
I've been possessed by a demon, and I have all these like animal like.
He has to work at the
helpers.
food court, in the way that he like orders, like when people order food, he calls back. He's like, "Give me the skin of a dragon." Well, I don't know. It was like so
Yeah.
much of weird shit. And the guy in the back's like, "What are you talking about?" I was cracking up. I love this series. I love the idol boy too. The boy who's obsessed with idols.
All the
Guys-
characters are great. Your mileage with this show will depend entirely on how lovable you think they are,
And
how much you
your
sympathize with
sense
the
of humor.
main character as she gets
Yeah.
pushed into all these situations that she dislikes but finds just interesting enough to stick around,
Hmm.
which is kind of us.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Also, Chihaya Furu started up, and they gave
Oh,
us
wow.
3 episodes,
Oh,
and
that's good.
I love it so much. I was super hyped by the end of the 3rd episode. I was like, I can't wait for more. But Mason will be doing an impression on that.
Has it started
I
out?
have not watched any of it yet.
Is it everything that you expected and were hoping for from it?
Oh yeah, it jumped right back in.
Okay, good.
I think the first episode has a little bit of a this is what happened last time, because I mean, it's
Okay.
been like how many years? 6 years?
Too many.
Ooh,
In fairness,
I think it's been more.
too many. In fairness.
It's been a really long time since season 2, so it was like this is kind of like what happened in last couple of seasons, just to catch you up a little bit. It was a tiny bit, and then after that it just jumped right in. We're already at matches. They're super exciting. I can't wait for more.
And they're releasing episodes in groups of 2, at least for episodes 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, just to help like bring it up to speed with the
5 is out.
Well,
I thought
4
they
and
only
5
had
are coming out
3.
at the same time.
Oh, they are. Awesome.
They will
That's
be
cool.
just because it started so much later in the month.
Mm.
So I'm gonna wait until I can just blast through a bunch of those at once for the impression.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I'm
want to talk
excited.
too much about it because you have to do an impression on it. So, but know that I love it. And I'm so excited.
Well, we can talk about stuff that we finished
Yeah.
because I think
So
I finished like 3 things.
yeah,
You go
I
first. You go
binged
first.
all through Paradise Kiss.
And
Oh, it's so good.
I loved it. It was
is it
really
better
good.
than Nana? That's the question.
I don't think so.
Oh,
It's
okay.
short.
I still like Nada more. Sorry.
I have them as like equal in my book.
I think the
I
only
think
thing
Nana's
that
better, but this one has an ending, so I'm like,
true, but even the ending, I was kind of like that was kind of weird. Because I don't know, the ending I don't want to spoil anything, but it has kind of a time skip in where it ended up. I was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing that. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
But
but
the ending, as in the ending song of Franz Ferdinand,
it's true.
with that dance, oh my goodness,
Yeah,
it's so
that's true. Yeah.
happy. It's so invigorating with life. I love it.
But Paradise Kiss is not streaming anywhere legally, but it is available on YouTube. So that's how I watched it, and I had to watch the English dub. That's the only place I could find this at all. And I was like, man, I really want to watch this. Like the DVDs are now like $100, like like a set. I was like, no. So yeah, I watched it on YouTube English, and it was all right. I mean, I'm talking about the dub was all right. It wasn't too painful, but yeah, definitely if you are able to check it out, definitely check it out because I enjoyed that. And that one is about like a bunch of college students who are trying to get into like the world of fashion, and they're trying to make a dress for a fashion show, and they hire a high school girl like who's like in her senior year. She's getting ready to graduate to be their model, and of course there's like a bunch of romance going on between different characters, a bunch of drama with that, and yeah, it's I really enjoyed it. It's really good.
It's a digestible, like 12 episodes. That is a little bit easier to recommend.
It was 13. It was 12.
What is it? 47, 49?
Yeah, Nana's pretty long. Mm-hmm.
But they're both good. Check both of them out. I finished, and I'm kind of bummed that Enzo isn't here to talk about it because you mentioned
he's in the
he wanted to
chat.
hear my final thoughts of it. I know. So the first thing I finished was Mecha Q City Actors. Which I talked about, I think a couple episodes ago, where I was like, oh, I watched the first 6 episodes. It was super cool. It was super zany. It's a Shaft show, which I love their shows. I'm just like marching through all their back catalog that I haven't seen. I think my next one is, what was it, like Denpa Ono Toseishun Otoko, which I haven't seen. But
okay, yeah. Electromagnetic Girlfriend?
Yeah. It looks kind of whatever, but Mecha Q City Actors was... And now I know why Enzo wanted to hear my thoughts on the ending, because I really loved the first part of it, and the ending was still fine, but it just didn't have the same appeal and zaniness and like intertwined threads and same setup. So I don't know. It's definitely I'd recommend it if you're a big Shaft head like myself, but I don't know if it like stuck the landing so much that I'd be like, yeah, you gotta see it through. I don't know. Good music though.
That's all that's based on Vocaloids, isn't it?
This was like a multimedia project where they like released like a Vocaloid album, a manga, a light novel, and like the anime like all like at once with all like different routes and all like weird stories and stuff. So it was started by a Vocaloid guy, but it's definitely like not inherently in that vein. It's not like an idol show or anything like that. But it was definitely cool. It was definitely ambitious, which I always give props for.
I like the character designs.
Yeah,
they're just very different.
There's a bunch of charming characters. NA is best girl of the series. If there was any doubt. What else did you watch?
Yeah, one thing that I really wanted to just briefly touch on was I started and finished all of Utakoi, and this is something that I never hear anyone ever talk about. And when I looked it up on Mao, it's like only 6,000 people have watched it. So I was like, oh, that's probably why I never hear anyone talk about it.
You're just trying to get more of that Chihaya fix. Yeah,
so Utakoi, which is also known by the Choyaku Yaku Ninshu Utakoi, which is like the 100 romantic poems. It's basically the history of the cards that they use in Karuta. And this one it says super liberal interpretation, so I don't know how true everything in there is, but it's an anthology that compiles a bunch of the different stories focused around the poets of the poets who put poems into the 100 romantic poems. And it's mostly a comedy. It has a very simple art style, but I actually really enjoyed it. 13 episodes long. There's one episode in the middle that was very much a filler that it was so silly. It was a comedy. It was about like, what if all the poets were running a race, but they're using drawn carriages? It was
Oh
so
my gosh.
stupid. But everything else before that are different characters who are falling into like taboo love. There is like someone who is falling in love with the Empress. There are ones of like just different kind of status, like because back then you got married for your bloodline, and if you were like someone who's very poor and you're in love with someone who's, you know, high up in the Japanese court, you couldn't be together. And so there's a lot of that. There was one about a woman who fell in love with another woman, and you know that wasn't allowed. But it was very interesting because like there, except for one story actually did have a happy ending. All the others are very bittersweet, and it's kind of like, this is where this poem came from. And so, and then they'll have the poem at the end. And a lot of them you do hear in like Chihaya Furu when they're reading them out. Like the Chihaya Furu one was in there. And yeah, I really liked it though. There was quite a bit of comedy. Like Narihira, I think his name was a playboy. Of course, a lot of things surrounding him was really funny. Yeah, I like a lot of the drama was very adult. Like there are a lot of like sex scandals kind of going on as well.
Oh,
like
wow.
people sleeping with people's wives. So I do recommend checking it out. But
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely watch that then.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I looked at the art style and I thought, oh, it might be a short, but no, they're 24 minutes per episode. And it's
Okay.
available on Crunchyroll. So yeah,
Yeah.
if that sounds interesting to you, check it out.
Well, in the very opposite aesthetic, I finally, after 1,000 years, finished Initial D season
Oh my
1.
god.
1,000
my
years?
goodness.
How many episodes?
Talk dirty
It's
to
like
me.
20,
It took you 1,000 years for
it's
that?
20. It's 26. It's 26.
26? Okay.
Talk-
yeah.
talk-
Says someone who would finish it in a day.
Talk dirty to me.
Yeah. Was that a JoJo pose just
I don't know
flexing
what
on
it
me?
was.
I think
I
it
was like just gonna do this. I don't know what I was doing. Good question.
I think if I was watching this week to week, it would have been aggravating. And I think if I didn't know that season 2 is available right now, it would have been aggravating because it ends like with no conclusion, with no like resolution to any arcs. It's just very much like, you want more of this, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take some more.
It's so
please.
freaking good.
So don't think this is a show where you can be like, oh, I watched season 1. I got the whole story. I don't need the other stuff. No, it very much is going to mandate more viewings of future seasons, which I don't mind because it was fun. It was.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a perfect bingeable show.
It is.
Very much knows how to pace itself so that as soon as one race is ending, it's mid-episode, and by the end of the episode, it's already built up hype for the next race.
Yeah.
So there's like no. Once you're in it, you can't get out of the cycle. You have the Eurobeats blasting. You're like, I'm watching the next episode, and it's 2 a.m. and I need to
Oh my
get
God.
to bed.
I need to go to bed, but I gotta push play.
But I'm sure the next episode will end the story, and nope, it just keeps on rolling, and
Keeps on rolling, just like
it, yeah. The OP and ETs are very weird because like they don't have like a lot of shots from the show. It's just like live action footage of like the band performing the music.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
So that
about
was kind
that,
of that was like an old school like odd look, but in the end, it was just a pretty fun time. Like none of the characters were deep, none of them were super compelling. It was just you're
fun.
here for just the raw racing aesthetic, and despite not knowing much about cars, I had a good time.
A couple notes, dude. So I'm sure. Like, I don't know how you feel about the CG of the cars in season 1 of Initial D.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, you loved it? Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah, I was not at all deterred by it.
all right, to me it looks a little
How
rough.
old is it?
Initial D came out. I have it up right now. I have it up right here. Initial D came out initially, and I get it. It came out in 1998.
Oh, okay.
in the-
So
in-
98.
So 3
CG.
years, 3 years before Spirited Away, and it doesn't even look like it's from the same media.
Yeah, I bet like
Interesting.
1998 is like, I don't know, arguably in my opinion one of the best years of anime. But like By the time you get to the 4th season of Initial D, the stage 4, the cars look so much better. Like it's so obvious that that the anime took off, the manga took off, the arcade machines were taken off, and like the budget just went through the roof.
Well, every
and it looks
season
so much
of
better.
Initial D was done by a different studio.
Really?
Yeah, which I
Okay.
thought was interesting. So I'm interested to see if I can see any like distinct change in the stuff. But I liked the charm of it. It was, I mean, it's not, I'm not walking away with any like deep themes or like messages that it pulled on my heartstrings for, but it was an enjoyable ride that I've been meaning to check off like the bucket list of being a proper knowledgeable person, because it's in the general culture
Yeah.
of
Oh yeah.
Japan. So feel good to finally finish that up.
Mason, I asked you a question about Initial D before, but you didn't have the answer at that point. How did
When
you
asked
like
about
the duct tape match?
The duct tape match?
Yep.
It was, I don't know if it was one of, like, I didn't like it as much as some of the other races, but just like the conceit of like how it came about is undoubtedly wild.
What is your most hype moment then? Since because to me the duct tape match is a pretty hype moment, but to me,
I
what was your...
I think episode 5, like when he pulls up to the race for the first time, like pulls up to the line, because it's been 5 episodes and like it definitely is a slow burn for the first race.
Yeah.
And you keep on knowing he's going to do it, but you're just waiting for him to commit. And you're just like waiting. And when he finally is like, yeah, we're going to race, boys. You're like, we're doing it. We're doing the thing, guys. We're doing the thing. He's coming to the thing. Oh, he's not going to make it in time. Oh, he made it in time. Oh, and just, I buckled in. I bought a seatbelt online, installed it into my chair so I could just be more with it.
Strap in.
Yeah.
Well, it's very shonen.
Click it or ticket, Mason.
Yeah.
It's very shonen, and it's gonna keep escalating. You know, so
yeah,
strap yourself in. Get it? Haha. It's pretty good.
I need to watch it.
It's fun. They're not done with it. I don't think the fifth stage didn't finish the manga. I don't think so, and I don't know if they will finish it because it's been a long while now. So
I have too many things on my to watch list. I don't know which one to watch next.
Yeah. What else, guys?
I've got one more thing to talk about, but Mandy, I don't know if you had something you wanted to bring up first.
If we have time, I don't mind. You can go ahead and finish yours, and if we have time, I'll talk briefly about something else.
I'll go quick. I was just going to say, I watched the Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress movie.
Oh, how was that?
That came out on Netflix. I think it was middle of September.
Okay.
So this is there's 3 Cabaneri movies. There's 2 that are just summaries of the first season.
Okay.
Like part 1 and part 2. And then movie 3 is a sequel. It takes place 6 months later from like the TV show, and it's on Netflix. And they released it. It's a movie in Japan, but they broke it down into 3 30-minute episodes for Netflix. And it's not like recut in any way, so the episodes just end after 30 minutes. And it has like the opening and ending. So that's one thing that's kind of odd. But easily the worst part about this is that if you go to Netflix, it just says Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, the battle of the
blah, blah,
wherever it takes place. And it says season 1. And it has the 3 episodes. So if you didn't know that this is a sequel movie to something, which it says nowhere, you just say, oh, this is a new anime thing, and there's 3 episodes of it. Let me start watching it. And because it says season 1, you think this is the beginning of the show. And because they're not going to direct you to Crunchyroll or wherever actual show is. So if someone came into this,
I think it's Amazon Prime. I think. Sorry.
Well, it's on net. Oh yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But so like, that's not like a great marketing thing. So if you didn't know that, you'd be lost right out of the gate. So that
does sound confusing.
Not a good look. But the worst part, even worse than that, is it's just terrible. It's
so
bad.
Shit.
It's horrendous.
Here comes the hot takes.
It's just 50 minutes of Moonmei like flopping around with like subpar animation, like for a movie. And like they completely ruined her like strong character. She's just very like needy and whimpery and whiny. and just nothing about it was interesting. Like some of the choreography was barely passable, and there
Wow.
was a little smooch maybe that was kind of nice. But
Ooh.
besides that, this was a slog of
Wow.
3 episodes to get through.
She's
and
so tough
I-
in the series.
yeah,
It's
every scene
very
ends with
strange.
her getting rescued, knitting for him, just
Knitting?
becoming completely docile. It was not good, and I don't recommend anybody watch it. And I hope that someone who starts off with this isn't like, I mean, the first season of Cabaneri wasn't like so mind blowing, but it was definitely better than this movie. And
I'm sorry.
I
Did
don't
you say knitting?
knitting.
What? It
Knitting.
doesn't seem like her at all.
I have
She's
nothing against people who knit.
yeah, but it's not
but,
Mume. It just doesn't seem like her
Mason
character.
hates that knitting.
I hate knitting. And that
knitting. 2
Don't
out
talk-
of 10. Am I right?
No, it was just
Strange.
abysmal on all fronts, and don't watch it. Just
Wow.
and it doesn't seem like it will have any long-term ramifications to the plot if they continue the series, which I would imagine that they would. They're just
Wow.
read the Wikipedia summary and move on. Don't waste your time.
Cabaneri, like, I mean, it was a decent TV show, but I'm surprised it even has 3 movies because it's just not. First of all, it didn't seem like the world didn't seem like it warranted 3 movies, and there just wasn't much to the anime. So I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked that it's got so much. But I mean, I just remember it was riding on the hype of Attack on Titan when it came out.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
well, it
and,
also
like-
helps that it has the Sawano like doing the music for it, which
Yeah,
is
I
the
mean-
big epic drops. And they didn't, of course, it sounded like they didn't re-record or make any new music for it, so they were just reusing insert songs from the show. They used the same OP and ED from that, so it was just tacked together and lifeless.
It's like Wit Studios' Bastard Child. Like it's the one that they've done so much, and I just feel like Cabaneri wasn't as good as the other things.
Yeah, which is a shame because I like
So-
Wit. I like a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of stuff they do.
They're good. Yeah, they've been great. So, well, Mandy, what else?
That's all I had.
Interesting. I finished 2 manga. The first one was I finally finished Tokyo Tadareba Girls, and I love that one a lot. This one is by the same mangaka who does Princess Jellyfish. My brain just died and I can't remember her name. Give me 1 quick second so I can find it. It is Akiko Higashimura. She does Princess Jellyfish. She also did the manga for Blank Canvas, which I am currently reading and is currently publishing, which I also have been really enjoying. But Tokyo Tadareba Girls is about 3 women who are in their 30s, and they are still single, and they're trying to get married before the 2020 Olympics. That is their goal. And it's just about them and them coming to realize that, hey, we don't have to get married. That's not something that we have to do. So yeah, it's about the main woman is introduced to a famous actor named Key, and about them bouncing off of each other because Key is very young and he doesn't like the way that they go out and drink together every night. He thinks it's kind of childish for their age, and she considers it I forgot her name. I'm trying to remember it. My brain is like all over the place today because I binged through a ton of stuff. But Rinko, is that's her name. She considers it just girl time. Then they go out and drink and complain about men all night. Is basically, and it's about those 2 working together also because Rinko is writing the scripts for a bunch of the dramas that Key is also being a part of, and they're just bouncing off of each other.
Which is funny because this got adapted into a live action television drama.
Yeah, and it looks real. The drama looks great. I need to watch it.
I absolutely would be down to watch that with you.
I would love to.
This looks so much fun, and it won the 2019 Eisner Award.
Oh, nice.
For like best writing from Asia. So
I hear a lot of people call it the the Japanese version of Sex and the City, basically.
Oh my
That's what
gosh.
I hear a lot of people call it. Yeah, I really enjoyed
That's
it, and I
funny.
like the ending as well.
Heck yeah.
I also finished Urasawa's manga Pluto, which is not a new manga, by the way. This is like, how old is it now? 6 years old? I think it came out in, it came out in 2003. So yeah, it's I really loved this manga. And we read the first 2 volumes for Manga Club a long time ago. And I really enjoyed those, but I didn't pick it back up for a long time because I just kept putting more stuff in front of it. I was like, I have to read all this manga for Manga Minutes and Manga Clubs. It took me forever. And then finally I sat down. I was like, I'm going to just read Pluto. And as soon as I picked it back up, I didn't stop reading it until I finished it. It was like over a span of like 3 or 4 days. But yeah, that is a fantastic manga. I loved it. It is also based on Astro Boy, which I know nothing about. So I felt bad that I know nothing about Astro Boy, but it is good if you're interested in manga or media that deals with the kind of like what makes a human human. Like if an AI is trying to become more human, then why, like kind of like just the exploration of that, and also just the nature of the soul. So yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. There are a lot of really good characters and some that made me cry in it. So yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend that one. And the anime is coming out in like next year, I think. Maybe.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah,
like
we can dig it.
Honestly, I enjoyed this so much. It might be in my top 5 manga now.
Wow.
It was
Whoa.
really, really good. I highly recommend it.
Wow. That's wild.
Have you read the other ones? Like Jellyfish and all that? Because I've only seen those.
Oh, you're back to that. I'm thinking about Urasawa. I was like, Urasawa.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I still had the page for Tokyo Tarahibera.
Tanariba Girls?
And I was like, whoa. Yeah, that's what she's talking about. Yeah, no. Obviously.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Obviously, Pluto's great.
I watched all of Princess Jellyfish. I have not read all of it yet, though.
Okay.
I would love to, though. If I ever get the chance to, I would love to read all of it. I have the first volume, the collection, which I think is like the first 2 volumes in one.
Okay.
The omnibus. But yeah, I would love to read all of Tokyo or Jellyfish.
Sorry. Going back in time.
You were like, did you read? Yeah, that's great. But did you read Jellyfish? I was thinking, Urasawa did Jellyfish? Question mark.
Jellyfish is the localization for monster.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Different name, right? Of course.
Exactly.
The only other thing I would add to this topic is that I am planning on going back to where it all began, the 80s. You know, I am a child of the 80s, so there's so many good OVAs from the 80s that just bleed like Japan's 80s pop culture, which is, you know, like big hair and motorcycles and just stuff like that. And Megazone 23 is a show that I want to watch. I'm gonna put that on my list, and I've been meaning to watch Genesis Climber, Null Peta, so I'm gonna try to watch that. Megazone 23 is super short, but it's just like, I don't know, the giant hair of like the Bubblegum Crisis girls and like Megazone is just, I don't know. I love the way that like that stuff looks from back in the day. So there's like that was back before a lot of stuff went on TV. There's like hundreds of OVAs from the 80s. So gonna jump into some of these and check them out. So maybe I'll be reporting on some of this older stuff when we do our next What Have You Been Watching? So
Cool.
Awesome. Also, they brought out a One Night Ultimate Werewolf theme, but with Beastars themed, and I thought that was hilarious, and I had to say it.
Nice.
Apparently, it was on Crunchyroll, so check that out. If you like tabletop games.
all right, are we done?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is our intro trivia question, which we will let you ponder before we come back from break. And the question is, in the film Spirited Away, what is the coveted food that ultimately gets Lin to take Chihiro to see Yubaba? And we will answer it after the break, so don't go anywhere.
See you soon. Hey everybody, Mitsuki's back. One last time bringing you more of your anime news. Looks like the Studio Trigger and X-Flag film Promare has done quite well, and it has actually surpassed the 1 billion yen mark, reaching about 1.4 billion yen or $13 million in theaters as of Wednesday. The film, which is a pretty big success for the movie, and also Promare has been nominated in the Academy Awards Best Animated Picture category, so that's also great news as well for Studio Trigger, the director Hiroyuki Imaishi, and the screenwriter Kazuki Nakashima, who made appearances at the film's TIFF screening on Wednesday. So pretty big news for Studio Trigger. For those of you that are fans of that movie, it's doing quite well. You might want to check it out when it becomes available to you. Next up, some Pokemon news. Pokemon Sun and Moon's manga is ending. It looks like it is going to be ending in the January 2020 issue of Shogakukan's monthly Koro Koro Ichiban, which is going to be coming out pretty soon. But they also revealed that they are going to be ending this manga, but at the same time starting the Pokemon Sword and Shield manga, which is going to be launching in the exact same volume of that magazine, so probably more or less in line with the release of the game. So if you're big fans of Pokemon, you will literally not have to go without a gap of Pokemon in an issue of this magazine. They're going to phase one out and move right to the next one, probably until the end of the human race exists on Earth. They will make Pokemon games, anime, and manga, so you will never have to run out of this. Next up, we have a list of the Manga Entertainment Company's Q1 2020 schedule of manga releases. Some pretty good stuff here. In January, they're going to be releasing Zombieland Saga, the complete series on DVD and Blu-ray, Dragon Ball Super Part 10 on the same platforms, Tanya, the Saga of Tanya the Evil, the complete series on Blu-ray, DVD in February, Hellsing Ultimate, SSSS Gridman, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Heroic Age, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, Fruits Basket, Radiant, and Star Blazers, all getting releases in February. And in March, Attack on Titan, Season 3, Part 2, and Rising of the Shield Hero coming out. So if you're fans of these properties, look out for these DVD and Blu-ray releases coming out in the first quarter of next year. And lastly, a pretty little spicy little news story here from Gundam creator Toshiyuki Tomino criticizing Makoto Shinkai's works for a lack of sexual intimacy. He was asked in an interview what he thought of Kyoto Animation and Shinkai's works, and he said, quote, "I see them as my rivals. From my generation's perspective, you don't have to go out of your way to make an anime that feels like an introspective novel." Then he went on to say that he described Shinkai's works as, quote, "a story about a boy and a girl who are always stretching out hands towards each other, and yet the boy's hands never reach the girl's crotch," is what Tomino has said, and wonders, quote, "why they don't go any further. I want him to make a story where they aren't just satisfied with no physicality." Well, Shinkai is a young director, so I suppose he can make films like that. Pretty bold comments coming from Tomino, who can pretty much say whatever he wants because he is a god in the anime industry, and just perhaps a reminder to all of us that the Japanese industry is run by old Japanese men. And come on, Shinkai, just give Tomino what he wants. Just, just even some hand holding. I mean, let's go. All right, that was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast. Hey Anime Addicts, did you know that the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast now has an exclusive RSS feed for our paid content, our hobby addicts, our after parties, and of course our hentai episodes as well. So head over to our website, aaapodcast.com, become a member, support the podcast, and you'll be able to enjoy all of our awesome exclusive content, up to 8 episodes per month, on your mobile devices, the same way you would enjoy our normal episodes. And you'll be supporting the podcast as well.
この番組は jlist.com の提供でお送りします。
You've heard of Confessions of a Popedom, but now comes the heartwarming tale of Kazuo.
I don't know any country songs, so I'm trying to sing along to songs I don't know and getting drunk with some grandma.
From the best-selling authors of Her Moe Majesty and The Best Yuri Bartender in Florida comes Growing Up Kazuo.
First time I was in a shootout, 2 years old. South Bronx, going across the street in my baby stroller. My uncle was pushing me, and a shootout broke out in the middle of the street.
Be there through the formative years.
So I was 16, I think, and my family went on a cruise to the Bahamas. For some reason, they thought it was a good idea to give me and him, his name's Steve, our own room.
Idea.
These two young men, let's give them their own room. What trouble could they possibly get into? As we're walking onto the cruise ship for the first time, we're walking through the hallway. There's like a door that's ajar, and I open it, and I look inside. It's like a janitorial closet, so there's like brooms and mops and whatnot. And there's also a big bottle of whiskey just sitting in this janitorial closet. And I'm like, okay, mental note, close the door. So later on that night, we pick up the bottle of whiskey, get completely trashed. We're basically drunk the entire cruise.
Will a child's dreams come true?
It wasn't even an option growing up. Like it was a dream that a young poor boy had that I was like, one day I'm gonna go to Japan. And it was like,
Are you gonna go to Japan?
and I was like, that's never gonna happen. That's not possible. Like at best, you will not end up in prison.
And tales of young love.
My first like real kiss. Like we've all had like when we were kids, you little peck, you're playing spin the bottle or something like that. But my first real like sexual kiss, like makeout session. And we end up, her and I make our way to her bedroom. So this is about to get super explicit. She's got him on one side, me on the other. Then have you ever heard of an Eiffel Tower?
Growing up Kazuo. Flying off bookshelves everywhere. Order yours now on Amazon or by visiting www.aaapodcast.com. Now, back to the show.
I guess I'll take this. I'm Enzo this episode. When we left you, we had the in-show weekly trivia question, which was, in the film Spirited Away, what is the coveted food that ultimately gets Lin to take Chihiro to see Yubaba? Mandy, what was the answer to that?
The answer is a roasted newt.
Give me
Sounds
some of that.
delicious.
Sounding like a snack.
Pretty gross. Everybody wants that roasted newt, but it looks horrible.
Does
It
it? I don't know.
It looks very
I wouldn't knock it till we
roasted.
try it.
It's like a stiff,
Exactly.
sharp. He like twirls it in his fingers, and it's like this stiff little. No, nope, not for me. Not
sounds
for me.
good.
Oh, okay. All
It's
right. Well,
crunchy.
it probably was crunchy, actually.
I've had alligator before. How much different can a newt be?
Probably not that different. And you know
I've
what?
had alligator.
She
Not
hogs that. There can't be any meat on a newt, though. That's the thing. You're just eating like organs and
bones.
ribs and
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
she
know.
just like mainlines it.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
is.
yeah.
One massive slurp.
That frog man. He just wanted one leg, and she wouldn't give it to him.
Just give me a leg or
So
something.
gritty. You just give me a little one leg, Lynn. Nope, not one leg. All right.
And then he got turned into frog legs.
Yes, he did.
Haha, get wrecked, nerd.
Yeah. All right.
Frog nerd.
So, we have, as we always do, we have some love from our listeners. So we are going to jump right into what we do every week, a 5-star review. So here we go.
It's time for iTunes review.
Love me some Outlaw Star. All right, so it's not from Looskers. It's not just a podcast. It's a lifestyle. I drive from Utica to Boston every other week to see my girlfriend. We both recently graduated, and she's in grad school, and I am working at a hotel to make money while I look for a job and apply to grad school in Massachusetts. I have a 4-hour drive, and I listen to one or the others to start the drive, and then I usually finish it out with AAA. So it's nice to listen to you lot talk about anime and manga. I like to think I have a generally good knowledge of anime. I began seriously watching a few years ago and started with Naruto on Toonami, and it's crazy how much you all know and can vibe off each other on almost every show. You all produce one of my favorite podcasts. I have a few friends that watch anime and that I can talk about it with, so it's nice to listen to all of you every week. I can't wait for episode 500. Oh boy. Congrats. You all have a fan for life. Thank you so much, Looskers. You are...
Oh, that's awesome.
You have a fan. We're a fan of you. That's right.
Heck yeah, Northeast boys.
I'm your biggest fan.
Spread the word. Spread the word.
Thank you so much.
Spread the anime addiction like the plague. Okay. And we also have impressions. Are you guys ready to jump into these?
I think so.
Today, we're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time! Believe it!
Believe it. Just believe it.
Leave it.
That's right. So one of you has 2, right?
We are doing Stars Align, which is one of Enzo's shows. Enzo couldn't be here, unfortunately, but I said that I would pick it up because I have watched all of the available episodes so far, and he also gave me a novel to read off.
Oh my god.
He wrote down his thoughts for me to read
off. A literal
off.
novel. Okay.
Yeah, it's a literal novel. It's good stuff, though.
Well, I'm going to be doing Assassin's Pride, but I only have 1 show to do. So if one of you would like to start, so you're not going back to back, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start with my show, which is Beastars.
Ooh.
And I also did a manga minute on this one. And if you recall, I really enjoyed it. But Beastars is the adaptation of the manga by Paru Itagaki, and is being adapted by Studio Orange, who also worked on Land of the Lustrous, which was a show that came out last year that I also really enjoyed, in a full CG anime as well. And it is a Netflix show. So that means, unfortunately, you won't be able to watch this weekly for a while. I'm so sorry. But I think it's slated for 24 episodes, I think. It's not, I think it's 2 core. But so Beastars, which I have, like, if you remember my manga minute, it is a world where everyone is an anthropomorphic animal, and it revolves around basically like high school life, but the drama that comes with it. And we followed the our main character Legoshi, who is a gray wolf, and just like a lot of the other carnivores at this school, because there's carnivores living together, he is suffering from his own like bestial nature and wanting to eat herbivores. And it's like a struggle that a lot of the students face. And at the very beginning, we find out that an alpaca known as Tem was recently killed. And so there's a little tiny bit of like a murder mystery there of figuring out who was the one who killed Tem. A lot of suspicion is placed on Legoshi. And but Legoshi, I think, is a very interesting character. He's very shy. He has a lot of symptoms of anxiety issues. And he's basically your typical literal lone wolf. He doesn't like being around other people, but he's very definitely suffering from his own desires. And we see that in the very first episode, where he meets this bunny girl named Haru. And Haru is very interesting to me. She's probably I mean, she's probably my favorite character, though, because she is very sexually free, and she gets bullied because of this. She just wants to have intimacy without relationships, and this is kind of like the way that she feels like she feels best that she can communicate with others. And it's interesting having Haru, who is very sexually open, very sexually free, dealing with Legoshi, who's very shy, is dealing with a lot of anxiety issues, and how they come together, because Legoshi really likes her. And I think it's very, like, whenever they're together, it's very interesting. But there's also Lewis, who is a deer, who is an herbivore who wants to live amongst the carnivores, and he is determined to be respected by all animals, and he doesn't like being looked down on. He's also a very good foil for Legoshi, who he wants everyone to respect him. Legoshi wants none of that. Like, he doesn't want anyone to look. He wants to stand.
He doesn't want to be noticed. Yeah,
exactly. He's very anxious, and so they are a very good foil for each other. And it's so fascinating. I love this series because the tone is very serious. It's very introspective. It calls into a lot of the issues in this mirror ones in our own world, and it calls into question about our prejudices and about others in society, and how society also enforces those views. And I feel like it has a lot of really insightful things to say. That deals with a lot of themes of like racial inequality, themes of taboo surrounding sexual desire, bullying. It's a very adult series. And I like how also Orange has added their own visual flair to things. Like when Legoshi catches the scent of another animal, it has a very like visually you can see like the scent going into like an X-ray version of like his nose, which the manga doesn't do. Also, the anime has reorganized some of the scenes that were in the mangas, so it kind of flows better. The manga starts off basically at the end of episode 1, which, yeah, I like how the anime has it flowing a little bit better. And the animation from when I did my pick, I was very skeptical because I thought the PV didn't look great. I'm very happy to say that it looks fantastic. The lighting is great. The characters for an entire CG anime are very expressive. And I mean, they're animals too. So I was very surprised with the level of emotions that we're getting into them. And yeah, I think it looks great. I think my only issue with the animation is it has a lower frame rate. So it kind of looks a little bit sluggish. I feel like they're trying to put 2D frame rate into 3D. So I don't know. I feel like it looks a little bit sluggish. But yeah, overall, I'm greatly enjoying it. It's a very easy pass for me, and I am so excited to see the rest of this series. And yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
Okay, I guess it's time for a pass drop then.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just grown-up Arthur, and it's a blast.
Grown up Arthur.
Grown-up Arthur.
It's just
It's
grown-up
true.
Arthur. It's oh my goodness, I love it. It's a great show.
It's very different. It feels very fresh to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't I go next then? I'm going to be doing Assassin's Pride, which is an anime that I recall that before the season even started, of all the shows, this one was the one that had been tagged the most frequently by people to watch.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Aside from all the sequels, it was like 5 or 6 sequels, and then Assassin's Pride was just like the first new one that kind of surfaced. And there are a lot of people watching this, it does seem. Assassin's Pride is this story done by EMT Squared, and EMT Squared, they haven't been around for a long time. I mean, they've got some things on their credits, but like Kumamiko, I think people might recognize. Ameiro Koko, maybe people would recognize. Like, this is just the stuff that kind of like, they've done a lot of Ameiro stuff throughout the years. And then Kobun, or Bo-kun, I always get that wrong. They did that probably most recently. But so this anime is the story of it's this world with this girl in it. Her name is Melita Angel, and she's the family of this she's in this famous family that are known for being like famous paladins. Like, they're these knights, and but she seems to lack the power that the rest of the members of her family has. She hasn't like manifested her mana, I guess, so to speak. And so she attends this academy, which is for like elites, so to speak, but like she doesn't have mana, so she's kind of an outcast, sort of, and she gets mistreated a lot for her lack of her power. And in order to help her, they hire a tutor. So Kufa Vampire is ordered by the family to become her tutor, and he's like this cool dude, dark hair, probably like kind of brooding a little bit, and he's very powerful. And he's training her, and the story is basically like, if she doesn't awaken to her power and she's not able to fall into line with like the sorts of abilities that her family is known to have, then she will be deemed to not really be a true member of like the angel family, and then his job is to kill her, basically. I kind of took it as in a strange way. It's almost like if the father finds out realizes that she's not his, then he wants her nothing to do with her. They didn't like explicitly say that, but that's kind of like the feeling I got, because the father's seemingly very suspicious that the girl is not really his child. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, because like she awakens to her power in episode 2, and the tutor helps her do that. And there's some like pretty interesting like action scenes in the academy where they do kind of like an exam almost, where it's almost like a capture the flag event where there's teams of 5 and they have like this skirmish, and she ends up performing rather well in the event, and So she's not like an embarrassment or whatever. And her father's an asshole though. He's like, she does really great compared to how people thought she was going to be. And then, he kind of just says like, well, thanks for not like embarrassing the family or something. He's not very nice to her, but the tutor is. And of course she's got like a crush on him. And there are people that have tried to do away with her in the third episode where you finally get to see Kufa Vampir's power, and he is a vampire. And apparently this is like the most powerful sort of like hybrid being. I can't remember how they refer to them, but like the guy that's trying to kill the girl, Melita, he's like a werewolf, and Kufa's a vampire, so they end up fighting. And of course, like vampires and werewolves seemingly always fight. And
they're never just cool bros, are they?
They're never bros ever, and no one's ever chill. And and of course the vampire he's just too powerful. They say it out loud, like he literally like gets his arm cut off, and then he literally just picks his arm back up and just reattaches it. I mean, he's super powerful.
Damn, Hisoka, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. He's just like that, except doesn't Hisoka get his arm kind of like sewed back on later because he attaches it with his whatever. Anyway.
Something properties of
something.
Yeah.
something bungee gum.
something magical Nen stitches. The anime isn't bad. I wouldn't say it's bad, but like it's very generic. I would say it's very generic, and there's a lot of little girls like being little girls. Like there's actually a scene where like a girl is crying because she was forced to wear an outfit she didn't want to wear. And I'm sitting here, I'm like a 34-year-old man, and I'm like, I don't really care that a 10-year-old girl is crying because she didn't get to wear the dress she wanted. Like I just don't care. There's a lot of little girl stuff going on in this where they just like, and they're very bitchy. Like they're so mean to each other in this anime. Like they gang up on Melita, they're bullying her. They're very petty. It's an okay show. I mean, I have no idea where this is going, but I will tell you that I find it to be very average, sort of. And this season is loaded, and so I just can't pass. I just can't pass it. Like I think it's watchable. There are probably people that are enjoying it quite a lot, but I just don't think it quite makes the cut. So I'm gonna pass this, but I'm gonna fail it. But I would recommend. Sorry. Whoa!
I was at a heart attack.
Shame.
I just fail it now.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
But
Shame.
I would probably recommend this for people that like action and supernatural type stuff. If you're into people using like psychic powers or transforming into vampires and fighting, you may really enjoy this show. But it just comes off as a little generic. It doesn't really move the needle, I would say. So, unfortunately.
That was an isekai, wasn't it? Or was it not?
No, not this one. For once, It's not an isekai. But it is I don't think it's set in our world, but it's not like they don't get like swept away to a world. If that makes sense.
Just your standard fantasy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when you said you're like, I'm passing it, I did that like
double take
guy
like what
meme. Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
from Princess Bride or whatever.
I heard that too. It was like it doesn't quite make the pass, but I'm gonna pass it. I was like,
what?
What?
I was like, man, good thing. Oh wait, no. Anyway. I will be reviewing or impressing upon you guys Null Peta.
Null Peta. What a title.
Which is streaming on Crunchyroll. Yeah, I guess it is more Peta, but so these are 5-minute episodes that showcase essentially this battle between genius inventor named Null and her Baymax-esque robot older sister reincarnated in robot form called Peta. And Peta just goes around.
Please Peta me.
Healthier by like feeding her like all these like perfectly nutritional like disgusting dishes, make her like shower and be clean and like go to school, most importantly. And of course Null fights back, and this show is the pinnacle of being fine. There's nothing more to the show than like the playful surface appeal and the comedy essentially it just comes from these two like moe marshmallows like highly like technical like expositions with like coding and physics and stuff, and this like cute robot having all these like spikes and rocket launchers and like fried rice.
Is this like the professor in Nichijou?
Yeah, it
sounds
sort of
like so
is. It's
far.
just
Okay.
Nichijou like condensed into short episodes, and just like
Okay.
the juxtaposition between like mathematics and violence and with these very like cute characters is what it's all about, and that's the only appeal it has going for it. The animation is decent enough, especially in like the various gadgets, and it has like all these computer screens where they definitely put in the time to put like realistic looking code. And there's some great reaction faces in it that I would think would be used in the community if this show was popular in any way, which it's not. And in the later episodes, actually, I did get some like darker vibes coming in, and I was like, I saw potential in it to be like kind of like Flip Flapper esque, where like the series starts to turn, and like the bubbly and bright surface yields to like a different mood. And like episode, I think 3 ends with like these characters, or maybe it's 4. They're stranded, both in their like location in outer space, and they're disconnected from the world around them. And there's a lot of metaphors going on, and like this robot Peta is like the reincarnation of a dead sibling, and the show like starts like touching on metaphors of like, maybe that's why like this inventor Null has like withdrawn from school and society, and it's like starting to like get towards something that like, oh, maybe this was all a ruse, maybe this is all just like playing up for the big bomb to drop later. And then I watched episode 5, and everything returns back to being fun and bouncy, and I was a fool for expecting anything more ambitious out of this show.
No fun. Mason said
No fun allowed.
No
like,
soup for you.
Like I would say give 2 episodes a shot, because they're 5 minutes long. Like they really do fly by. You'll instantly know, oh my goodness, cat's on
That was a
cam.
cat.
Oh.
Yeah, she's gonna yell at me any second.
Cat
now.
sighting.
Anyway, like it takes no time to get a feel for what is good about this show, and I could see it being like a very quick, like, oh, I've got nothing to do for the next couple minutes, let me watch it. But I mean, it's quick and enjoyable for what it is, but it hasn't really hooked me. And even if it was like great, like a full review would be needless. Like,
Yeah.
I'll follow up on it just because it takes no effort, and I'll let you know if it ends up doing anything interesting beyond what we've seen so far. But this is going to be a pretty uncontentious fail.
Okay. Would you like an intense fail drop or like a gentle drop? Like
A short drop to suit the short show.
it's a classic drop. How about that?
It is. That was good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Quite literal drop too.
Yeah. Little drop for a little show.
Yeah, so we also have Stars Align. I think I'm just going to read off what Enzo wrote, and then we could just, Mason and I could just briefly...
And then you and I are just going to talk about what we thought about it.
Yeah. Let me check out what the studio was, because I forgot it was who did it. It is being adapted by 8-Bit Studio, and the director is Kazuki Akane, and this one is currently on Funimation, and it looks like it's an original. It wasn't adapted from a manga or anything. And Enzo writes, much like its synopsis suggests, this show has a pretty straightforward premise. There's a soft tennis club that is on the verge of being disbanded if a certain metric cannot be obtained.
Oh boy.
Very typical.
It's so typical.
The solution to this main problem is also quite standard, as it is the old faithful approach of a new student joining the club and becoming the core hope for the team. However, what is so enticing about the show is neither of the above. What shines here are the characters and the already building subplots for the main and supporting cast. By episode 3, I have been convinced to stay tuned, as I find myself wondering how these underlying personal stories will come to fruition later on in the series. I really believe that the tennis, specifically in the doubles format, which the club plays, will act as a strong catalyst for the growth of each cast member, much like what volleyball does for the characters in Haikyuu. Accompanying the storylines is animation that isn't perfect, but does not fail in delivering the emotions or atmosphere of what is currently going on. During the episode when the boys are running the 20 laps, for example, I think that I think that was episode 2. The animation team doesn't slack on what the other clubs were doing on the grounds. Also, every outside shot has a beautiful greenery, and every home or bedroom shot wasn't bland, but full of life and personality. He also says Tome has a dope cactus in his room. He's very jealous. Layered on top of the animation is a pretty damn solid music selection. The arpeggioed piano keys add a warm suspense to the blooming storylines. I look forward to the climaxes of the show and what they will look and sound like. Genuinely happy and excited to pass the show. It was everything I like: a complete set of characters, organic interactions, believable drama, clear setup for the growth, warm visuals, solid audio production, and of course, potential lovey-dovey shit. And P.S. It was cool seeing Maki be clearly encouraging of gay rights. Maki said, "Gay rights, yo." And he also said the ED is dope. Damn shame about the controversy surrounding it. Yeah, I agree with everything. I think it's one of my favorite shows of this season. The drama in it is very real. It, like the end of the first episode, I don't want to give spoilers, but it surprised me because it's dealing with something that I never thought was going to happen. Because before the ending of the first episode, I was like, these are really nice character designs. It's nice seeing a wide variety of different kind of body types in here, and the characters are kind of interesting. But it is a very typical setup to a sports show. It's like, oh, we need people for our club, or otherwise we'll get shut down. It's very typical stuff. And I was like, it's okay. But the end of the episode, I was like, the drama was so different. It was a nice tone shift where I was like, this didn't feel so over the top that it was edgy. It just felt very real. And I'm very, like, this is me trying to be very vague so I don't spoil stuff, but I do highly recommend watching it. And just like Enza said, I think we're definitely going to pass the show.
Yeah, it's really good. I think, though, you guys aren't giving enough credit to what you guys said, like, typical club condition. Because most shows, it's like, oh, we don't have enough members, we're going to get shut down just by pure, like, arbitrary involvement. But this isn't like a shutdown. This is like the president of all the clubs is essentially saying, like, look, we are going to prioritize performance. And this club is winning championships. They're winning matches.
Yeah.
And they get just as much money as this underperforming club. We are changing that. If you do not literally get good, like, we're shutting you down, not because you don't have enough members, but just because we are doubting your interests and, like, commitment to the sport.
Yeah, because when it first starts up, the boys team is slacking. They don't do shit. But the girls' team, they are whooping ass.
Which is why I like the main character so much, because he very much validates my opinion that if you're going to do something, if you're going to spend time on something, you should do it right.
Do it right. That's right.
Yeah, like, put in the time. And he pretty much just comes in and he constantly assaults the team for saying, like, what have you guys been doing all this time? You guys are terrible. And he doesn't, like, pull back punches. And yes, he is a dick because of it.
I was going to say, he could say it a little bit nicer.
But and maybe part of it's to rile him up, but he's just like, guys, obviously you should have been disbanded because you haven't been taking it seriously. And there's going to be all sorts of conflicts and growth because of that. And it's very much I like that sort of message that I think it's going to send. And I think obviously what they said are both true. I like how soft the show just looks. It just has like a mushiness to it that is a good kind of mushy. It's just every character kind of, it's a little squiggly, a little wobbly, but it feels very lively because of that. It's not stiff, it's not cookie cutter, and I enjoyed the show a whole bunch.
Yeah,
same. I think any of us had watched it would be an easy pass. So
I will say, Funimation, the 4th episode, they've totally screwed up the subtitles.
I went to watch episode 4.
I couldn't watch it, so I'm waiting for them to fix it.
They're just like a 3-second delay between, like, when the character says something.
Oh, I thought it was a lot longer than 3 seconds. I could be wrong, though.
I don't know. Maybe they're slowly fixing it by the second.
I hope. Maybe.
But it was like,
it was 6. Now it's 3.
Unwatchable, and I was like, I'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost for a second was like, I could still make it through this. Like, I could still just
I tried. I couldn't.
because I want to. That's how interested in the show I was. I was like, I'm willing to watch this in an inferior setting just to get it into my system, and I was like, it's not worth it right now. But
Yeah, I'm
it's
just
that good
gonna
of a
wait
show.
till they fix it if they ever do. But also, did we play a pass drop for it? Sorry.
Not yet. Waiting.
Not yet.
Okay,
Should I play it?
go for it.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Before we move on, though, before I get shit for not mentioning it, I forgot
Uh-oh.
to mention Beastars is OP. It's great. It's fantastic. It's very innovative. Where they decide to do a stop motion, like dance sequence in like the first, like the OP of the show, and it's fantastic. I have to mention it before people get on me about not saying anything.
That's what I was forgetting. I think last week because Africa Cutlery Man has a dance.
Yeah.
Beastars has a dance. Ending of Stars Align has a dance. Everyone just got their groove on this season, and
The
I
end
don't mind
of
it.
the Cautious Hero has a dance. It's not fantastic, but
It's there.
it's a dance.
They tried.
Yeah.
It's a Mason level dance.
Are you poorly done, CG? Are you a poor
Probably.
CG Mason? Okay.
Probably.
I can't wait to see what you look like in HD.
I'm going to do a quick review here of shows that we have passed and the ones that are left. So
Okay,
we have passed 6 anime this season so far. We passed Ahiru no Sora. We passed Blade of the Immortal. We passed Babylon, Fate Grand Order, Beastars, and Stars Align. So that's 6. And we have approximately 5 more impressions. We have Cautious Hero, Chihaya Season 3, Rifle is Beautiful, High Score Girl, and Legend of the Galactic Heroes Part 2. And I have a feeling that at least one good show is going to have to get the axe, so to speak, because I
Did
think
High Score Girl ever come out?
Oh, I don't
Good
know.
question mark.
Oh,
I don't think it ever did.
oh, well, I don't know. Can you pass a show that's not out?
I would say no.
That would be disappointing.
I don't think it ever came out.
Oh, that
but
would be so
I'll
sad
look
because
it
you guys are looking forward to that. But
yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that whatever one of these good shows doesn't get passed is going to be the one that's the listener choice. Pretty sure. So feel pretty strong about that. So we got some good stuff coming up next week, guys. But you know what? We also have mailbags. You guys want to jump right to the mailbags?
Yeah,
2
we can
episodes
blast
came
through
out.
these.
Sorry, I want to
Okay,
correct myself. 2
so-
episodes are out.
So it is coming out. All right, here we go. Mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag.
It's not worth dancing without my buddy Enzo.
Oh wow,
Just not
no
the
one's
same.
dancing. That's
Sorry.
so sad.
I want to read the first one.
Go for it.
Gunnivore, the Mightly Perkle of Clan Creature. I'm sorry if I messed that up. It's a really great name. Says, Mandy, I have a problem that only you can with. I think that can help with. My Viking raiding party needs a badass shield maiden, and we are going to raid England Escalade style. Are you in, sister? I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
obviously.
Manny's gonna have a battle axe.
Obviously. But only if I can look like Lagertha Lothbrok from Vikings. If I can look like her, I'm totally in.
She's got a badass looking sword.
Yeah, I put a picture of Lagertha on our doc list.
She'll cut
She's
you.
my favorite character
She'll
in
cut you
Vikings.
so deep. I haven't seen that show, but I thought about watching it, so maybe I will.
Go for it. I've only seen season 1 and 2. I never continued it. I should.
Next mailbag is lengthy. I'll take it if you guys would like. It says it's written by AAA Feels Right at Home. Hello, AAA crew. I recently got back into anime, and I've been rewatching all the awesome 90s shows I grew up with. Initial D, a.k.a. Best Anime Ever. Yu Hakusho, Initial D, DBZ, all the classics of the era. I start to look for new anime as well, and your show has been a great resource for finding new content. I really love the chemistry that all the hosts have. This is more like a 5-star review. All have with one another. I also relate quite a bit to Mandy and Mason. Mandy because I'm a ferret dad to 2 ferrets, an 11-year-old petite lady, and my boy just turned 1. He has Waardenburg syndrome, but aside from his deafness, he's a very active and healthy young man. I also relate to Mason as he and I are both nutmeggers. What does that mean?
That's what they call people from Connecticut.
Got it. Got it.
Which is a hilarious name in my opinion.
And it is funny. I was like, is this? All right. I also work in the aerospace industry. Hopefully, I'll run into you at one of the cons someday, and we can also talk about AS 9100 audits and how to fight FOD.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for the amazing show and for helping me find some new anime to watch. Now go get some tofu delivered. This one's on me. Great.
Aw, thank you. Yay for ferret parents. Please send me
Yay,
pictures.
ferrets.
I want to see them. I said that in the doc that I was planning to try to have my ferrets on screen for this, but I haven't seen them at all.
They're sleeping.
Sorry, they're sleeping. Yeah, earlier, I was trying to do laundry and I picked up some stuff in my laundry basket and out tumbled a ferret. I felt so
I can
bad.
picture you just like dropping a big tray and just all of a sudden ferrets come bouncing out.
I felt so bad. I just put the towel back over him. I'm like, I'm sorry to disturb you. He looked at me like, huh? What? But yeah, one of my mine, Shiki, he has adrenal gland disease, and I have to give him an implant once a year to help shrink the tumor. But he is 6, and my other one is 5. But yeah, please send me pictures on Discord. I would love to see them.
Yeah, Connecticut is called the nutmeg state, hence people from it are called nutmeggers. And for those of you curious, FOD is like foreign object debris, because essentially like a big risk of when you're making airplane parts is like stuff that shouldn't be falling in there, and then when they turn on these engines and things start spinning, the things that get trapped inside cause a lot of damage. So we put like little blankets or like tubes or covers over things like when you're not working on them, so like birds don't fly in or whatever doesn't like get in there. So that's kind of what it is. Heck
Okay.
yeah, my dude.
Last
stuff.
mailbag. I think it's your turn, Mason.
From the Creepster.
Ooh.
Right. Hey, how's it hanging?
Low and to
Was
the
wondering,
left.
is there a show where you would like to see it done differently or in a different angle? Like if Pokemon was more graphic in the battles and showed more gory death as a result of battle. If a guy is stealing a bunch of Pokemon like Pikachus and Rattatas to feed his Charizard. Thanks.
Damn.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Man, Charizard's gonna get a shocking discovery.
I was gonna say I could picture Rattatas
Pikachus.
like being fed to like Ekans and whatnot. Like that's very real world.
Do you remember the episode of Pokemon where they had like they filleted a Magikarp?
Well, yeah, isn't James like always like salivating over it and goes like bite into him and like the outside is like super hard and he like always Meowth like always breaks like a tooth or something.
Yeah.
God, Team Rocket. I can't wait till we get to do that. That'll happen one day.
I would love it. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny because there is a manga in Pokemon, I think it's Pokemon Adventures, that is slightly darker, kind of like what they're suggesting, where Pokemon actually do die. I've mentioned that before, but yeah, I think also the anime that I talked about earlier, Utsukoi, I think that one was more of a comedy, but I was thinking that I would really love like a heavy drama version of that, based on kind of like the Hyakunin Isshu poems, and that one, yeah, the one that I talked about earlier was comedy, but the drama was still very adult. So I'm kind of trying to imagine it in kind of like a more of a Nakugo Shinju style. There he goes. He just ran to the water bowl.
Oh, there he goes.
Ferret alert, sorry. In kind of like a more Nakugo Shinju kind of art and storytelling style, where it's just very adult. I think that'd be very interesting.
And it seems like a lot of the times I want anime just to be darker and more intense, like a lot of the time. And there's a lot of sports shows out there where I wish that they like they had just more knowledge of the sport that they're participating in. You know, like like even Slam Dunk. Like you can just, it's a fun show, but you can just tell that the author might not have like been super versed in basketball. You know, like there's times where the defender is standing between the guy with the ball and the guy who he wants to pass to, and that would never be the case. You would always want to be between the guy that would be receiving the pass and the basket, always. Otherwise, he just lob the ball over your head, and the guy would just lay it in. This is stuff like that, and because I'm a big sports fan, so like there's a lot of sports anime out there where I just feel like they don't really have the knowledge of the sport that they're portraying, or like Ice Shield 21. It doesn't really come off as being, I don't know, maybe that's just the tone that it's intended. But in addition to that, like when it's a horror show, I want it to be like a horror anime. So like High School of the Dead, people love that show, but like maybe a little more horror and like a little less ecchi. Maybe that would ruin it for people. But like for me, I'd like to see a real zombie show for once, where like zombies are killing people and it's very not funny. You know what I mean? So I guess that's,
I get you.
Because it's either like little girls in a school or it's ecchi. Give me like zombies where like the world is straight up ending and people are dying in real ways. Like that would be like very intense. That's what I would want.
Gotcha. My suggestions for reimagined like darker works. First of all, if you haven't seen the Koike Takeshi trilogy of like reimagined Lupin the Third movies, definitely check those out.
Ooh.
Those take like the super fun cartoony Scooby-Doo like Lupin series and make them ultra mature, ultra violent, ultra edgy, and they're so much fun. And there's like one of them for each of like his compatriots. So you got like the Jigen film, you got the Goemon film, you got the Fujiko film, and they're all just like over the top. I mean, this is the same guy who did Red Line, so they look great. I want Girls in Panzer redone, just with the violence like actually like bumped up to like girls getting like with instead of their heads just popping out of tanks, like when they get hit they actually like they'll just get ripped apart. That'd be cool.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Hitamari Sketch.
Realism.
Like it took place in like an art school, but it was like hyper competitive. So all the girls were like really catty and like combative, and there was like
cute little Himari sketch. You're like, damn,
know.
they're just too happy.
Too happy. I couldn't get through that show as much as I like Shaft, and I think that would help. And then finally, I wrote Erased. I want that reimagined to not be terrible.
Yeah,
I highlighted it.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know if that was a good highlight or bad.
I actually loved the beginning of Erased too.
Yeah, I like the beginning of Erased.
Yeah.
And then I didn't like the end of Erased, and I want that reimagined, please. Thank you very much.
It hit a point where I was like, this is a bit too obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big...
If you're trying to make a mystery, maybe put more characters in there to give us like kind of like a guessing game.
Yeah,
too obvious.
That anime had so much hype, and it was just not... I just don't feel like it delivered. I recall being disappointed as well by it.
Yeah.
Good OP though. I like how like on these Twitch streams, Enzo has like his eternal battle to like peel apart an Oreo like perfectly, and Mandy's is to summon her ferrets from the water bowl.
I have been trying this entire time. I had to mute myself. I was like calling him, and he kept looking at me like, "Nah, I'm good."
Nah, I'm good over here, lady.
Yeah, he's happy, quite happy, just dumping water on my floor.
But I think that does it.
Yeah, so thank you to those who have hung out with us to the end. I had fun. And next week, we will be finishing up our impressions of the fall 2019 season. And again, you can check us out on aapodcast.com/join. Go, make an account, and get bonus content.
And that feed, that exclusive feed.
Yes, please.
I love it.
And of course, you can go to Facebook. Also, groups, facebook.com/groups/aapodcast. Talk to your fellow addicts. Please come to Discord. Please come to our groups. Mason and I are trying to find what to stream next for gaming, so let us know what you think. And please come talk to me on Twitter at AAA_Mandy with an I. Mitz, what is yours?
Pope Mitsugi. That's it. That's all.
And Mason's too cool for everyone, so.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he's just too spicy.
Yep. We miss Enzo, so please also go talk to Enzo on Twitter.
I think in lieu of Enzo not being here, we'll just do an after party. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you back here in 5 minutes or so. Love you. Bye.
See y'all next week.
Bye. 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 Bye.